Hello, welcome back to Sail from the Heart Creation, where creation is the process of the mind. In today's video, I'm going to be sublimating 3 tumblers, and by doing so, I'm going to be using a conventional toaster oven and a tumbler heat press. So now I am wiping off the tumbler with some alcohol, and I'm going to be using this dry cloth or a paper towel to wipe off that alcohol to dry completely off of the tumbler before I get started. Excuse me. The designs that I will be using today came from Etsy. It was a bundle of designs for designer, different designer bag designs within this bundle. And this one, as you see, is the Mickey Mouse one, and then I'm going to be doing one that is just gold with, silver with diamonds, coach, and a MK with a chain around. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down all around in every 4 corner. In every top, bottom, and side. And the original image I cut out at 9.270 by 8.210, and you will see later on within this video that I wasn't able to use that particular cut. It was actually too small, but we're going to continue on as you watch me use the rotary cutter as well as my ruler to cut down the image and cut off all the white edges. I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, so this is why I was not able to fit this design on the tumbler. The other 2 designs were pretty standard and easy, but for some reason I don't know if this was how this was transferred and how it was digitized, but it just would not go all the way around this tumbler. And these are 20-ounce skinny tumblers from made by Hawk. So as you see, I'm trying to wrap that paper around that tumbler, and I'm going to tap it down and turn it back around, and I'm going to start squeezing as I turn. As you can see, it will fit, but with my fingers and the arthritis, I didn't want to put the stress on it so that I can be in some terrible pain later on in the night. So I decided to just reprint that and be done with that. As you can see, I threw that design over on the side. I did manage to print out another design, and that measurement was 9.3 by 8.2, and I was able to go ahead and put the rest of the sublimation images onto the tumblers, and I'm ready to start preparing for sublimation in the oven. Here I folded that shrink wrap paper to the other side so that it wouldn't be flying back and forth with the static that comes with messing around with that plastic. And I'm using this string that I saw Tracy do on his channel, Sneeze, I think it's called Sneezy Moon Design. But anyways, he said if you wanted to tear through that shrink wrap paper, you put a knot on each side, which you see me doing here, and it's just big enough for you to grab hold to and hold your finger. You put it on each side, and you you take that down on your tumbler, so that once the shrink wrap process has went through the oven and helping the sublimation process, and you take it out and cool down, you will be able to rip through that paper. Now this is some strong thread. It is 100% cotton, and I'm not sure why it didn't work for me. Maybe it was the arthritis, or excuse me, maybe it was something that I just wasn't doing right. Maybe it was the shrink paper. I have not a clue. It just did not work for me, but you will see that later on. So I had forgotten my heat glove, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on so that I can use this heat blower and blow this paper, start shrinking it onto the tumbler. Now as I start blowing it, you see that I miscalculated where I positioned the tumbler within the bag. So therefore I take the tumbler and pull the paper away from the bottom so that I can reposition it back into the bag itself, where I can have that bottom and top coverage. And I go ahead and do that, and once that is done, as you can see, I begin to start blow drying, or should I say blowing that shrink wrap paper back into the tumbler itself. So I'm going to continue to blow this, and I know that I've been doing a lot of coughing here tonight. I live in Maryland, and doing this taping, it has really gotten really cold outside. So I guess with the change of the weather, I'm having a little allergy problems, and it just feel like I have to always clear my throat. And I wanted to get through this process of making this video so that I can get this over and done with before I take some medicine and maybe get very drowsy and then ready to go to sleep. So I'm going to apologize for my past coughing as well as my going forward coughing. So I'm almost through here shrink wrapping this paper onto this tumbler, and I just wanted to note I had bought the silicone sleeve, and I'm telling you, I had the hardest time in putting that sleeve onto the tumbler. This is my second time sublimating, and I just got the sleeves, but I just could not put it on there. So I decided that I was going to use these bands that I got so that I can give it that extra security around the tumbler. And I'm going to be placing these in the center of it as well as the top and bottom. And these was pretty tight too, so I ended up rolling it down, flipping it and rolling it, and now I'm just straightening it in the middle to sit directly in the middle of it. And I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to place one at the top. As soon as I finish fooling with this to straighten it up in the middle, I'm going to put one at the top, and then I'm going to put one at the bottom, and I want that to go directly on the edge as close as I can get it. So I'm adjusting it now, and I'm sorry that all during this process that I may come in and out of the view of the camera, but it's hard to just work directly into a camera when you know, used to just doing whatever it takes to make it work. And I like to ask for that as well. Okay, the oven is set for 385, and I'm trying to put it in here, but I notice they keep rolling on me. I'm like, why is this thing keep rolling? So I realized that it was hanging off of the wood that I had placed underneath of that. And I tried again, but it's still rolling because it's real sturdy now. So I said, well, let me hang it, let me sit it in here this way. That way it can sit in between the grooves. Again, the temperature is at 385 and I have it for 12 minutes. After the 12 minutes, I'm going to turn it completely around to the other side, and that's 80 degrees, and I'm going to let that process for 12 minutes as well. So the total process would be 24 minutes that I have this tumbler within this toaster oven. So it is now finished now, and I'm gonna take it out the toaster oven. As you can see, the paper is very dark, and I'm gonna sit up here to cool. We're gonna move on over here to the tumbler press, and I have my parchment paper, and I'm placing the tumbler in there, and I'm gonna have it seam downward. The temperature that I'm using here is 365 for 50 seconds, and then I would turn it to have it seam up at 365.50. I would do it again, and now it's on 0, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn it around and just do both ends for like 20 seconds. So that's all completed, and we here at the table, and I'm beginning to try to take that heat tape off of the tumbler. It's giving me a go for my money, but it's all melted together. I can't even see where one ends for the other. I gotta figure out a better way for that, but for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and use my exacto knife and cut that off. Now this is the Minnie Mouse tumbler that I had the image for, and for some reason this tumbler, I didn't do the 50 on one seam, turn it up for 50, and then do the edges. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I did do it on the other two. I just did this with a seam down and a seam up, heated at 50 seconds, and you'll see how it looks when it comes out. Now the image of Minnie Mouse really isn't that bad, but there was some ghosting. As you can see right here at the top, in the back, there is some ghosting on my Minnie Mouse darn tumbler. I have some tape there, some paper that was stuck onto it, and what I believe happened was I had the pressure too rough on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some water, and I'm gonna put some water on a paper towel and take that and kind of like rub that paper off of it. Now I'm quite sure I can figure out something to do, like maybe even put some vinyl at the very top of that tumbler before I try out the epoxy. Now of course I didn't want to try that out, but I'm going to try it out. I brought all my gear and stuff, so we'll see how that vinyl would look up there with the epoxy, and hopefully it will make that ghosting disappear and the tumbler look marvelous as it is. Minnie looking cute, isn't she? So now we're moving over to the one that I had completed in the oven. And I'm taking off those bands. Now they can pull off real good. I just can't put them on that good. So that middle one is giving me a little problem, but I got it. And here we are. I'm going to try to hold this string, as you can see, and I'm going to try to pull it up. And I know I'm out of view, but this just is not working for me, guys. I had ended up pulling the whole string out and just saying forget it, and I'll just pick the sublimation bag off of the tumbler bit by bit. And that's what I was trying to avoid, but unfortunately I couldn't avoid that. So as you see, I'm scraping it off as best as I can, and I'm going to end up, after getting that off, I'm going to end up getting some scissors or my exacto knife and cutting through that paper, the remaining paper, to take off the design. So I got my exacto knife, and I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. Now remember, I did 2 tumblers in the Tumbler Press and 1 in the toaster oven, and this is the only one that I did in there. So we're unwrapping this, and it's like, here we go. I think this was marvelous. I can't tell you how proud I am of this tumbler here. It is seamless, and I'm about to show you. Here it is. Seamless. It worked perfect. Perfect. I am so impressed with the way that this sublimated in that inexpensive toaster oven. Isn't that marvelous? So let's move this out of the way and go ahead to the next one that I had sublimated. We're gonna cut that off right at the back, because I don't feel like going through all of that struggling, because that tape is very hard to find once it get all glued down in there. I decided to use the scissors because I got a big enough amount where I can hold it up and actually pull it down. And that's when I had to use a exacto knife at the top, pulling that around now. I can't wait to see these. And I actually loosened the pressure a little bit on this one, and this was the first one that I actually did the seam up, seam down, and then I also put a little heat on the top and the bottom for just 20 minutes, or 20 seconds should I say. And look at this. That came out beautiful. Flawless. Isn't that gorgeous? Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Now I think this came out pretty well, and I'm impressed by both the inexpensive toaster oven and the heat press. Both of them I've never done a tumbler press in before, maybe once as I said, and I'm very impressed how both of these mugs or tumblers came out seamless. I realized with the Minnie Mouse one, of course, how I got the ghosting on the back, and I'm going to fix that regardless. So I'm very impressed, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you have a marvelous day. Until the next time, bye.